Right now, state lawmakers lay out their plans for the new year. We're live at the Capitol with Republicans looking to cut taxes before talking about the upcoming budget.
Plus, will he or won't he? The governor gives his timetable of when he plans to decide if he'll run for re-election.
And it's been 4 years since the chaotic events of January 6th of 2021 with President-elect Trump heading back to the White House. What it could mean for those charged with participating and the so-called fake electors. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Lawmakers return to the state capitol today to be sworn in for the new session.
Already, they're laying out their plans for the next 2 years. Political reporter Will Keneally is there and has the latest. Will?
Well, you'll hear me talk a lot over the next couple of months about the state budget, but lawmakers actually want to start on these tax cuts right away before that budget process even gets started. Now, they want to use last year's money to get it done, and that sets up a possible conflict with the governor. It's back to school, so to speak, for state lawmakers, getting sworn in for the new session. But starting off, they want to finish up some business from last year.
We will always remember that it's the hardworking taxpayers who need relief from the crushing burden of rising prices.
Republican lawmakers like Assembly Speaker Robin Vos want to spend down part of the state budget surplus in tax cuts to Wisconsinites, using money left over from last year.
We will pass a tax cut focused on those who pay taxes in Wisconsin. The money that we set aside for that tax cut will not be spent by this legislature on other wants, no matter how many special interests or tax and spend politicians apply pressure to get it out of the Treasury's hands.
Republicans want to get that done before the budget process. Now, Governor Evers tells us an agreement between him and Republicans may be hard to come by.
It's unlikely, but you never know. We'll take a look at it.
But he stressed a desire to use the next state budget to get costs down for Wisconsinites.
We have to make sure that people in the state of Wisconsin have the ability to thrive economically. And part of that is affordable housing. Part of that is tax relief.
Now, we also heard from the governor that part of that process he wants to put on the state budget, this ballot initiative process, kind of like how California does it, where voters can put petitions on the ballot for voters to directly vote on. Now, lawmakers are hitting the ground running here in the Capitol. Already this week, we'll see them back in session later to vote on a photo ID constitutional amendment to require people to have those IDs when they go and vote. But for now, reporting from the state capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Will, thank you. Meanwhile, the governor says he will decide about whether to run for re-election after the budget process is done later this year. The governor had hinted during the 2023 state Democratic Party convention that he was considering a third term in 2026, saying that voters could call him two-term Tony, three-term Tony. As the governor mulls that decision, the budget process will begin February 18th when he delivers his budget draft to the legislature during an address. The process is expected to finish when the current two-year budget cycle ends June 30th.
A conservative candidate looking to replace outgoing state Supreme Court Justice Ann Walsh Bradley is defending January 6th rioters in an appearance on iHeartRadio's The Vicki McKenna Show last week. Former Wisconsin Attorney General Brad Schimmel discussed what he sees as problems within the state Supreme Court and other areas of government. While speaking, he referred to instances of, quote, lawfare manipulation, referencing the criminal conviction of President-elect Donald Trump in New York and the cases against January 6th defendants.
The New York City district where President Trump was prosecuted, there was no way any jury was going to rule anything other than he's guilty of whatever you can give him, whatever charge you give them. The same thing for these January 6th defendants who were all prosecuted in the Washington, D.C. district, which is overwhelmingly liberal. This part of the manipulation is to go to districts like that. They would never take their prosecution in a district where you had a fair shot as a defendant.
Also running for state Supreme Court, liberal Dane County Circuit Court Judge Susan Crawford. Tomorrow is the final day for candidates to file those nomination papers, declarations of candidacy, and campaign registration statements.
Today marks 4 years since the violent mob of Trump supporters broke into the Capitol in an attempt to stop Congress from certifying Joe Biden's victory.
And now we're on the heels of a second Trump win, and Armand Rahman spoke to a political expert on what the insurrection could now mean moving forward.
The fourth anniversary of the Capitol insurrection comes at a political intersection.
Today, the 2024 election was certified without incident. We are in the next Trump presidency.
A presidency Trump says would begin
First day.
First day.
Yeah, I'm looking
Can
first
issue
day.
these pardons.
Since this Meet the Press interview in December, the president-elect has not specified how many of the nearly 1,600 people charged in the Capitol attack he would pardon.
There's really no reason for him not to do this. It's keeping a promise. It is not a political cost.
1,000 of those charged have pleaded guilty, and 600 were charged with assaulting or resisting police. 11 of those charged are from Wisconsin, seen here in federal court documents. UW-Madison political expert Howard Schwaber says many or all of them could get out unscathed with a pardon.
For one thing, these people are no longer convicted felons, and that affects them going forward, among many other things, for voting rights, but also in terms of things like getting jobs. Those who are already are currently in prison could be released.
Schwaber says it could open the door for more people to participate in these crimes in the future.
Just go do this thing for me, and don't worry, I'll pardon you afterwards.
Those 1,600 are charged by the federal government. Schwaber says state prosecutions, like Wisconsin's against Jim Troupis and Kenneth Chesbro, two Trump attorneys charged in the fake elector case, are not affected by a presidential pardon.
In politically charged cases, state authorities may be less willing to defer to federal authorities precisely because a change in control of the federal government can mean that those cases simply go away.
Going forward, Schwaber says the legacy of January 6th will change.
Did we overstate the importance of the events of January 6th when they happened, or are we wildly understating them now?
While people have drawn analogies to President Ford committing amnesty to draft evaders or action taken after the Civil War, Schwaber says there's been no broad pardon for a single mass crime in presidential history.
Armand, thank you. Now, today, Congressman Mark Pocan released a statement on the January 6th attack. Quote, January 6th was one of the darkest days in our nation's history and will forever be a stain on our nation's long-held tradition of a peaceful transfer of power. And while I wish the 2024 election results turned out differently, I will be voting to certify the Electoral College because the peaceful transfer of power is what makes American democracy work. Well, the cool weather continues. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington now with a look at our certified most accurate forecast. Alex.
Eric, that is correct. And there are new changes in our forecast going out into the 10 days, getting rid of this cold or having a big warm up anytime soon. So if you're looking for warmer temperatures, January-like temperatures unfortunately are here to stay, but it's January. We're 17 right now in Madison, 16 to the west in Middleton, 21 hanging on to 21 still in Edgerton here in Dane County. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, we got 22 in Boscoville, 23 in Janesville, but already down to 12 in Camp Douglas. Now that the skies have cleared out, that allows those temperatures to cool on down. Now, winds are calm here in Madison. We've got 5-mile-per-hour wind speed in Vernon County and 12 in Janesville. When you bring just a little bit of wind in, that's what makes the wind chill. So it feels like 12 in Janesville, even though it's 23, but it only feels like 17 in Madison because our winds are calm. So that's actually some good news. We've brought those winds down just a little bit, so our wind chills have improved. As we plan our evening in Madison, really all of southern Wisconsin, take note of the top temperature. Those are the actual thermometer readings. The temperature below that, that's the wind chill. As you join us at 10 o'clock, the actual temperature will be 16, but it'll feel a little bit more like 10. Snow depth. There's nothing out there. I'm out here in the patio and there's not a bit of snow around me to see. Just a little dusting over there on some of our property on our bird feeders over there. But you got to go way east to Milwaukee to get a little bit of snow. Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to talk about snow chances and what's causing this lack of snow and if we have any in the forecast.
All right, Alex, thank you. A fisherman is dead in Marquette County after falling through the ice on a UTV. This was on Lawrence Lake in the township of Westfield. The Marquette County Sheriff's Department says at about 10 in the morning, emergency crews responded to the lake. Despite efforts to save that person's life, they died at the scene. The sheriff's office is not releasing the person's name until family can be notified. They'll be releasing more details as the investigation into the death continues.
The New Lisbon police are providing an update on the triple homicide that happened at the end of last month. Chief of Police Kyle Walker says the FBI is now helping his department look for Virgil Thu. His last confirmed location was near Orange at McEwen Roads in Lisbon Township on New Year's Day. Local law enforcement has recovered the last known vehicle Thu had. Thew currently has a warrant out for 3 counts of first-degree intentional homicide stemming from the deaths of a woman and 2 children last Monday. Thew's considered armed and dangerous. If you do see him, you should call 911. The trial for the man accused of killing a 39-year-old Marshall woman will not move forward. 71-year-old Jose Luis Gonzalez pleaded no contest to a charge of first-degree intentional homicide today, just as jury selection for his trial was about to get underway. Now, this charge stems from the killing of Dora Gonzalez Zarate. Law enforcement officers found her dead from a gunshot wound back in May of 2022. A criminal complaint alleges the two were in a romantic relationship. She was trying to leave. The sentencing hearing for Gonzalez scheduled for January 13th. Still ahead on News 3 Now at 6, a recall at Costco that'll have you checking your medicine cabinets.
And whooping cough cases are surging in the U.S. to levels not seen in years. We'll tell you why doctors think they're seeing such an increase.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
An application to support Wisconsin Recovery High Schools is now open. The Recovery High Schools Planning Grant provides up to 4 planning grants to support the development of recovery high schools. Recovery high schools are tailored to meet the needs of students who are overcoming substance abuse or mental health challenges. Each recipient could receive up to $75,000 in funding from the Department of Public Instruction if 4 grants are awarded, or up to $100,000 per grant if fewer than 4 are awarded. Applications can be sent in through January 30th.
CDC says whooping cough cases are the highest they've seen in a decade in the U.S. Data from the agency shows more than 33,400 cases have been reported from December 21st through today. The vaccine coverage rate in the U.S. that protects against whooping cough was just over 92% for the 23-24 school year. That's a decrease from the year before. And coverage for all vaccines has decreased in most states.
And as this rate drops, the level of infection in the community rises. And so far this year, we've seen about 6 times more whooping cough than we did last year.
Now, those at highest risk of getting severely sick include very young children and those with certain medical conditions like asthma and anyone with a weakened immune system.
Costco is recalling Kirkland signature brand severe cold and flu plus congestion medication. The retail giant says some of the packages could be contaminated with foreign material. A specific lot of the medication had been rejected due to the contamination and was not supposed to be shipped. It was sold nationally between between October 30th and November 30th of last year. People can return the packages for a full refund. Well, still ahead tonight at 6, the TSA reveals their final travel numbers of 2024.
Plus, thousands of public sector retirees will be getting a bump in Social Security benefits. The new law that's now making it possible and how much people can expect to get. And is there any chance we could get some snow this week? Alex is back, his complete forecast after the short break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Millions of retired Americans will see a boost in their Social Security benefits. It's in new legislation President Biden signed into law. It's called the Social Security Fairness Act. The law eliminates two federal policies. One barred employees with a public pension from collecting their full benefits under the federal retirement program. The other policy reduced benefits for those workers' surviving spouses and family members. This impacts people such as firefighters, police officers, and teachers. President Biden said that would mean an average monthly increase of $360 for more than 2.5 million Social Security recipients.
This victory is a culmination of a four-year fight to provide security for workers who dedicate their lives to their communities. And I'm proud to have played a small part in this fight and get to sign it.
President says those beneficiaries will also receive a lump sum in the thousands of dollars to make up for the shortfall in benefits they should have received last year.
Well, if you were traveling over the holidays, this probably won't come as a surprise to you. The Transportation Security Administration says it just finished its busiest holiday travel period ever. The TSA screened nearly 39 million people from December 19th through January 2nd. For all of last year, the TSA said its officers screened a record 904 million people at airport checkpoints nationwide.
City of Madison Parks and Streets Division needs your help naming 5 snow plows. The name suggestions can be sent to dropoff@cityofmadison.com. You have until 4 p.m. on January 24th to send in a suggestion. Once the naming process is complete, a list of finalists will be selected from all of the suggestions for each of the vehicles. Wisconsin Saltwise will host an election to choose the winning names. That's anticipated to start on February 3rd. But maybe by then those plows will have something to push around. It's cold and dry right now. Alex is back. Complete look at the forecasts.
Yeah, we have the cold, but we don't have it looking like January, at least not yet. But we're going to talk a little bit about snow and why we're missing out on some of the snow and some of the snow chances actually that we have in the forecast. But first, let's plan our evening here. 20 when you join us now, and temperatures by the time we get to 10 o'clock will be down to 16 degrees, clear skies. We've cleared those clouds out there. We've actually just slipped below 20. We're at 17 in Madison, 18 in McFarland, 15 to the west in Middleton, and how about a 17 right now in Mount Horeb. We've got 20s in the Wisconsin River Valley, as cold as 12. Remember, when we clear out, heat goes out to space, temperatures drop, and still hanging on to 23 degrees right now in Janesville. Now, we have been on a roller coaster ride since the Christmas holiday, then past Christmas. We got our temperatures up to near 50 degrees. I'll get out of the way, and then there we took the tumble as we head out to the end of last week, going down to just yesterday. We're down to 17 degrees. So up we went, down we go, and where are we going with the next 10 days here? Temperatures staying fairly close to normal, if not below normal. Not going to see any 40s, 50s anytime soon. So temperatures where they should be for this time of year in January. Snow. Where did that snow happen today? Actually happened to the east. We said we might get a little lake effect snow as that big weather system to the south of us caused winds off of Lake Michigan to give a little bit of snow towards Racine and Kenosha, where they got about 2 inches, but that's it across all of southern Wisconsin. Year to date, last year to date, we had about 8 inches of snow. We've had a little bit more than that this year. But remember, last year, we had some big snowstorms that 9th to approximately 11th of January. Then that really brought the snow totals up across southern Wisconsin. And normal year to date, we should have just about double of what we've got right now. So why are we not getting the snow? Well, our river of air, the jet stream, generally way to the south. When it bulges in the North Pacific, usually it falls to the south, and you need that jet stream to be coming up from the southwest and northeast, and it's not doing that. We're getting polar high pressure systems, so these weather systems go around that weather force field, so to speak, and that's why we have snow to the north and snow to the south, and that's what we have out there. This is our current snow depth. Snow in Canada. Here's that big snowstorm that caused nearly a foot of snow down to the south near Kansas City over to St. Louis, and here we are, right in the middle of that right now. And until the weather pattern changes, our snow chances are not going to get too high. Although we have a 30% chance of snow on Friday, here's one depiction of this. This is our GFS model, an American weather model here, showing some light snow throughout the day on Friday. Overall totals, if this were to verify, now this is still 4 days out, maybe an inch or two, but that's something to plow if we want to think optimistically here. Bottom line, still 4 days out. The GFS weather model says favorable, but the ECMWF, that's the European model, not as favorable. First Storm Weather Team will be keeping an eye on this all week long to see if this verifies, but that is a chance of snow in the forecast. Maybe another little chance of snow as we head towards Sunday with, again, temperatures normal for January.
And still heading sports, it is playoff time for the Packers. How they flush yesterday's loss and move on to Philadelphia. Next on News 3 Now. Losing to the Bears at Lambeau, albeit, is not exactly the way that the Packers planned their runway into the postseason. But as Matt LaFleur said today, when you make a mistake, you got to face the music and prepare for the brand new season that starts Sunday in Philadelphia. The Pack play the Eagles in the wild card round at 3:30 on Fox Sunday afternoon, a game that Jordan Love is expected to play in. Love and LaFleur will spend the next week preparing for an Eagles team that they lost to in Week 1.
I mean, week one feels like a season ago, literally. And I would tell you that it's going to be very important for our offense to be efficient, stay ahead of the sticks. They got superstars on every level of the defense. So we're going to have to make sure that we're doing a good job of taking what's there and churning out and fighting for every inch on the field on Sunday.
And as great as it is that Jordan Love's injury shouldn't impact his status for Sunday, we did find out today that he'll be without a top target for the rest of the year. Wide receiver Christian Watson tore his ACL in yesterday's loss to the Bears. Matt LaFleur called it a big loss, adding, "I hurt for him." Wisconsin hockey had an unforgettable weekend. Both the women and the men played at Wrigley Field in the Big Ten's Frozen Confines series. The only thing that would have made it any better was if they could have brought home a win or two, but it wasn't for a lack of effort in the net. The women's goaltender Ava McNaughton was named the WCHA Goaltender of the Week. She had a season-high 36 saves at Wrigley and picks up the honors for the third time this year. Speaking of honors, Wisconsin softball's Hillary Blomberg was named to Softball America's preseason top 100 players list, coming in at number 90. The Verona native is coming off of a historic season in Madison, where she set program freshman records for batting average and doubles. And the Madison Mallards and the Madison Nightmares have unveiled their schedules for the upcoming season. Fresh off of a trip to the Northwoods League's playoffs, the Mallards began their season at the Duck Pond on May 26th, while the Nightmares open up on June 11th. Their home opener is the following day on June 12th.
That seems like a long way away right
It
now.
feels good, though, just to think about it.
But we're staying cold for now.
Cold and low snow chances really for the next 10 days across southern Wisconsin.
All right, Alex, thank you. Thanks for joining us, folks, for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a great night, everybody. Hope to see you back here tonight at 10.